Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode of Slightly Early here on the wonderful platform of playback.tv/slightlybiased. That's where you can catch these shows live. Who knows? This could be the start of something incredible. 20 years from now, we could look back and say, my God, the most successful podcast in the history of the fucking world. I can't believe it started on a cold December morning in 2023. Or this could be something 2 weeks from now. My community's like, you remember when you tried to do Slightly Early? And I was like, yeah, I can't believe I thought that would last. Who knows with me? Could go one way or the other. We really don't know yet. But nonetheless, this is episode number 1. First time we're doing this. Just going to talk about some of the stuff going on across the league. As you can see, just wanted a live action shot of me as a thumbnail. Just felt that it was appropriate for what we have going on. Just felt that it was a little bit appropriate for what we have going on. So anyways, last night was a busy slate of NBA games as per usual. I mentioned this before I started recording that I hate how many fucking games they play. Like I do. I think this is bad for the league. Just immediately right off the rip. It makes more sense to me. I get that with logistics it's hard. They have to figure out how can we schedule these games, and this team needs, like, this arena is free this night. There's a hockey game this night. There's an Ariana Grande concert this night. There's Monsters Inc. on ice on Wednesday night, so we can't play then. But it just makes more sense if there's, 6 games a night maybe, and they're all kind of spaced out evenly. If that makes sense, like 6 games a night, they're all spaced out. You can watch at least a portion of every single game. Instead, there's 13 fucking games. Like I don't know. This isn't baseball. This isn't baseball. You don't have to be the regional sport. You can be a national sport. You can. You're popular enough. You can do the national thing. People care. People care enough. Adam Silver. So anyways, a busy slate of games. Just off the rip, I mean, the most insane thing. The Detroit Pistons are now on a 20-game losing streak. I believe they're only the 7th team in NBA history to lose that many games in a row. And, man, what else is there to say other than, man, just brutal? I would love to know. I tried to do some research on this, and I couldn't find anything. But I would love to know if at any point in NBA history, as I just said, there's only been 7 20-game losing streaks. But at any point in NBA history, has there been a 20-game losing streak and a 17-game losing streak going on at the same exact time? I would venture to guess no. I would venture to guess no. In fact, I'm confident enough to say no. This has never fucking happened. So we're experiencing NBA history in the form of terribleness, which is a little bit shocking to me. I thought going into the season there wouldn't be terrible teams. Even like the teams that finished, worse in the conference or whatever the case may be, would still be at least somewhat competitive, at least early on in the season before full tanks occurred. But, man, that's really not been the case. 20 straight losses feels almost impossible in today's NBA. When the talent is as spread out as it is, and every team has at least some legit talent. Like, here's the reality. 20 years ago or so, when there was like a kind of a lull in NBA talent before LeBron came in and after MJ, Cade Cunningham would be like one of the most exciting young players in the league. Jalen Duren would be like one of the more, I know Duren's been out, but would be one of the more exciting young guys in the league. Like Asar Thompson would be one of the more exciting young guys in the league. And now this team has all of them, and they fucking suck. Like, they're horrible. They're so bad. Poor Jarris Walker, man. He should have gone somewhere else. Yeah, you guys know Jarris Walker, my draft crush. I mean, it's still super early into his career, and he's not playing at all. So, just kind of real unfortunate. And then you have your head coach making claims like this. Monty Williams on the rotation. We're starting to figure out that we can score when we space the floor properly. I'm learning about these guys. Let me repeat that. We're starting to figure out that we can score when we space the floor properly. This is an NBA head coach, folks. This is an NBA head coach, ladies and gentlemen. 20 games into the season. And this tracks, if you've watched any Pistons games, I'm sure most of you haven't, but I've actually tuned into a shocking amount of Pistons games. Not like from beginning to end. I think I've only watched like 2 games of theirs beginning to end. But But I check in every now and then, especially in fourth quarters when it's like a 6-point, 7-point game like last night against the Pacers. And I'm like, oh, fuck, can they do it? Can they finally win? You tune in. You see some of the worst, most disgusting closing lineups you will ever see. So it's no wonder, I mentioned this in a video, I don't remember which video, but it's no wonder Cade Cunningham's been terrible this season because, like, how are you expected to be good as a primary ball handler and the point guard of the team when no one else around you can fucking shoot the basketball in the year of our Lord 2023? Like, hello? Hey, Monty Williams, people shoot now. You should know this. You went to the NBA Finals. Isn't that crazy? Like, Cade, so far this season, 42% from the field. These numbers have actually gone up kind of significantly since the last time I've looked at them. 33% from 3. That number was like in the 20s recently. What's the Pistons subreddit saying? I'll give the Pistons fans a lot of credit, man. They care. They really do. That's like someone in my stream last night was like, maybe the Pistons get relocated. No fucking chance. Like, Detroit's a big time basketball town. They love their basketball there. I would say, I don't know, I'm not from there, but I'd have to imagine the Lions take precedence, especially when they're good. But the Pistons are right there, especially when they're playing well. Detroit loves basketball. Unfortunately, their basketball team has been fucking ass as of late. Let's just look at their subreddit just to see the post-game subreddit, see what's going on. Bro, there were minutes where Cade got quadruple teamed. And see, this is what I'm talking about. You might look at Cade's stats and think to yourself, this guy sucks. This guy sucks. Like, it's year 3 now. I know he missed all of last season pretty much. But, man, like, at a certain point, you got to start being somewhat efficient. And there are a lot of stats, historical stats, that say, you know, if you're, like, an uber inefficient player early on in your career, that, like, never really goes away. We like to think it could. But if you're like uber inefficient, I'm not saying like a little bit, most rookies will be like a little bit below league average efficiency. But if you're like well below it, you're not turning that shit around, unfortunately. You're not turning that shit around. And I want to pull up Cade Cunningham's fourth quarter stats because they're shockingly bad. They are shockingly bad. They should add a rule where you can't be at the top of the lottery consecutively for a certain number of years. So, I don't know how I feel about those. Me personally, I don't care about tanking. I really don't. It kind of sucks for the fans of the teams, especially if teams... Because here's the aspect no one ever talks about when it comes to tanking, is it's a very comfortable place for a GM to be. We have to remember that this isn't like 2K where you never get fired or whatever the case may be. This is, real life. And these guys' their jobs are on the line. And if you're just kind of in a rebuilding period, it's very rare to get fired when your team is rebuilding. So it sucks when teams are like in fucking 6-year tanks. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? But the GM's just really trying to save his ass because it gets scary time when you're trying to be good. Cade Cunningham in the fourth quarter this season. 33% from the field, 21% from 3. 22 turnovers. Minus 69. Not nice. Not good. Hey, 92% from the free throw line. That ain't bad. But still, absolutely terrible numbers. Horrid, abhorrently bad. So definitely some of the blame falls on Cade Cunningham. But you look at some of the lineups he's playing with, dude. It is just jarring. It's just shocking. Isaiah Stewart's been terrible. Absolutely terrible. Shout out Sasser producing as a rookie. Yeah, Sasser's been cool. Right? Sasser's been a nice little surprise for them. That's not the rookie you wanted to be good. Like, you needed Jarris Walker, I think, to step in immediately and be good. Wait, hold on a second. Why are we even talking about Jarris Walker? Somebody brought up Jarris Walker earlier. Why are we even talking about Jarris Walker when we're talking about the Pistons? I guess because they played the Pacers last night. I saw someone say the Pistons and Wiz are dueling for the number 1 pick like Timmy and Deion Waiters in the Rising Stars game. Nice thumbnail, by the way, Side Bias. Didn't know you had that physique hidden inside that hoodie. Yeah, I don't like showing it off. I want my takes to be more so about, I want my viewership to be more so based on my intelligent NBA takes rather than my, physique and my looks. Just don't want to be sexual. Don't want to be sexualized is the thing, really. It's an unfortunate reality for a lot of NBA streamers and YouTubers out there. So it's just Stu is a tweener, which sucks because those are supposed to be valuable. Wiseman looked good, but could improve his rim protection. Who's going to tell him? Free Ivy and Asar. We needed Duran back big time. Go next. The streak probably isn't broken anytime soon. Also, how do people watch these games and blame Cade? So I do agree with that. Like, if you watch these fourth quarters, you have to watch. You have to watch the Pistons to fully understand why things with Cade Cunningham are as bad as they are. But they're still bad, though. I don't want to give him, like, ultimate bail. He's not been good. He's not been very good. He was a number 1 overall pick. The expectations are a little bit higher. That's just the reality. I'm confused because Stu gets love and a lot of hate from Pistons fans, but I haven't really watched them, so I don't know the truth. It's just like that guy said. He's a weird tweener, but not in a good way. So this guy says those are supposed to be valuable. Well, yes and no. It depends on what type of a tweener you are. He's a tweener in the sense that he's not big enough to be a 5, but he's also not like athletic enough and not good enough on the perimeter to be a 4. So he's like the worst type of tweener there is. The good tweeners are like, yeah, he's not big enough to be a 5, but he can bang down low, and he's like not athletic enough to be a 4, but he can do it though. Unfortunately, Beef Stewarton is not that. It's like Bam versus Christian Wood. Yeah, pretty much. If they're happy with Wiseman, they got to be ass. I mean, you just got to find something to be happy with. A 20-game losing streak, that's what I'm saying, man. This has what? How many comments does this have? 162? That's not bad. Sometimes, like, I'll go on some NBA subreddits, and the post-game threads will have, like, 35 comments. So they're out and about. They're talking about the team. They're interested. Daniel in chat last night was trying to trade Josh Green plus a second for Wiseman. I have no interest in James Wiseman at all. I don't think anyone should. Wingstop, what's this? Wingstop CEO watching the Pistons? Wait, I don't get it. No free wings tonight? Do they get free wings when they win or something like that? Oh, that's hilarious. Like when they break the losing streak, they get free wings. That's how you know you're in the shit, man. I remember back in the day when the Rangers were really bad. They ran like a promotion with Papa John's where if they scored it was like 7 runs or something like that, you get half price pizza or half off your entire order. And I used to just destroy that shit when I was in college. And then they started to get good a little bit again until like 2016, 2017. And then they took that shit right off the table. Anyways, pathetic stuff from the Pistons. I mean, how do you lose 20 games in today's NBA? How do you lose 20 straight games? The talent, at least I didn't think so. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I read the situation wrong. The talent discrepancy across the league is not that bad. No, Bojan's been playing. He played last night. He's been back for a while. As great as Asar's been on defense, 14% from 3 after 23 games is definitely not helping. No, that's the problem with the Thompson twins and why, I'm not a draft expert at all, but just going off of like NBA history and stuff, like why I wasn't super high on them. I mean, I was high on them, but I wasn't as high as others because I'm like, if they're going to be as good as people think, they got to shoot threes. And it doesn't feel like it's ever going to be a thing. Pistons messed up not trading Bojan for first last season. That's what's sad is they didn't want to trade Bojan because they thought they'd be competing for the playoffs this year. Like that was the thing. Like contenders wanted Bojan. Teams were apparently willing to give up firsts. They wanted to hold on to him so that they could compete for a playoffs. I mean, that was the reporting at the time. And, well, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to imagine they actually thought that. I just don't get it, man. Is their roster this fucking bad? Like, maybe it just is. Maybe it's just really bad. Cade Cunningham, Former first overall pick 3 years ago. Bojan only played 4 games. Duran's been in and out with injury the whole season. Hasn't really looked the same since he sprained his ankle. What game was that? Really early in the season. I don't remember the exact game. Jaden Ivey was just a top 5 pick. Asar Thompson was just a top 5 pick. Marvin Bagley, former 2nd overall pick. James Wyman, former 2nd overall pick. How do they fucking suck this bad? I forgot Joe Harris was on this team. Josh Green be Pistons leading scorer. All right, let's chill out now. Dante Exum would be damn near the best player. And then you look at their schedule. We looked at this last night. I'm making my prediction now, stamping it, and feeling pretty damn good about it. Atlanta on Monday will be the end of the streak. I don't think they beat Philly. I don't think they beat the Bucks. So that would put their losing streak at 23. Going into Atlanta on Monday, that feels like an Atlanta Hawks move. That feels like something the Atlanta Hawks would do. So that's what I'm expecting. Stamp it. The losing streak ends on Monday to the Atlanta Hawks. Speaking of the Atlanta Hawks, they're on a little mini losing streak of their own. 4 straight losses. Granted, you look at the schedule, Bucks, okay. Nets, probably want to win that one. But Sixers, Nuggets, I mean, that's a pretty tough schedule, but they're now 9-13. This was another great prediction on my part. I thought they'd be a home court team in the playoffs. I think I predicted them to be the 4th seed. And just wrong. That's it. Just wrong. Wrong up and down about this team. DeJounte Murray is fucking sad. I'm sorry. I mean, listen, there's no 2 ways around it. Guys, hold on a second. There's no 2 ways around it. Trae Young has been a better defender than DeJounte Murray. That's right. Trae Young has been a better defender against DeJounte Murray. Trae Young was guarding, and listen, I'm not the only one who thinks this. The Hawks themselves think this. Trae Young was guarding Jamal Murray last night. They gave Trae Young the Jamal Murray assignment because DeJounte Murray has been that fucking bad. And to Trae's credit, he's been he's legitimately improved as a defender. But Jesus Christ, man. But also imagine the Spurs with Murray and Wemby. I got a new one for you. I'm workshopping this. What about the Spurs with Trae Young? What about the Spurs with Trae Young? Get a legitimate point guard who will get the ball to Victor Wembanyama, but who can also score at an incredibly high clip. Just something to think about. This Atlanta experiment's not working. They got to do something. It's funny because they gave DeJounte Murray this super team-friendly contract. What is he? He's barely at $30 million a year, right? And it's at the time it happened, everyone was like, whoa, that's actually a great deal for Atlanta. But now it's yeah, that's probably about what he's worth, if not less than that. I just don't I don't know what he does. He's not good off ball offensively. He's not a good spot up 3-point shooter. He needs the ball in his hands. He wants to shoot inefficient mid-range jump shots. And he's just not a good defender at all. His defense has been vastly overrated. They need Jalen Johnson back. Okongwu's been terrible. Where's Okongwu been? AJ Griffin, I hardly know him. But how do you lose a game where Bogey drops 40 points? 10 of 17 from 3. 10 of 17 from 3. Bogey's been really good this year, though. I'll give him that. Pretty gutsy win for the Nuggets. Jamal Murray played really well. 12 of 15 from the field. So many guys get their defense overrated because they do dumbass hustle plays. I mean, if you have a lot of steals, and I'll give basketball fans this. I mean, I used to be guilty of this as well. I'll give basketball fans this. We've really graduated away from steals and blocks like being real things that we look at defensively. Like, I think most of us, they do miss Jalen Johnson a lot. Jalen Johnson's their second best player. Luka and Lively versus Trey and Wemby Western Conference Finals 2025. That would be sick. It's definitely not crazy to say Jalen Johnson's been their second best player behind Trey. And then, like, Bogey's maybe been their third best player. I don't know, man. I'm so, like, put off by DeJounte Murray. I don't know what he looks like on a team trying to win. I genuinely, like, don't know where he fits in at. Is he, like, your primary ball handler? That's kind of gross. So is he going to be your secondary guy? Well, it looks like he can do that. Block plus steal percentage in college is actually a pretty good indicator of top defenders in the NBA. I mean, naturally, right? If you get a lot of blocks and steals, you're probably a good defender. Stocks is probably the best way to look at it, actually, because I feel like even if you looked at the NBA stock leaders, it's usually like some of the best defenders in the NBA. And then there's like Andre Drummond, who's always towards the very top of the list in steals per game from centers. Doesn't make any sense. 6-man, DeJounte Murray's a 6-man? Yeah, that's probably about right. Like, I'm talking about it on like a legitimate contending team. Very disappointed in the Hawks, man. Just, they are who they are. I mean, beyond the 4-game losing streak, holy shit. They're 1-6 in their last 7 games. Damn. Do you think we'll see any trades on the 15th? So the 15th is like the first day. Well, trades could have been made this entire time, but it's the first day guys who have signed free agent contracts or extensions can get traded, a lot of them at least. Or guys who got traded in the offseason as well, right? Very rarely do trades actually happen on that day. I don't know. I feel like we'll wait until January until we start seeing like real trades. Someone tweeted this and thought they cooked. Zion is averaging more points per game than Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns. But turn on the TV and it's eat the table. He got it. So we're going to talk about the Pelicans now. Let's do a segment where we rank the most confusing teams in the NBA. Let me pull up Google Docs. I have Google Docs open for two separate things today because I also want to get down to the, is Derek Lively a top 10 center in the NBA? I think there's arguments to be made that he already is, but we'll list out some centers and we'll try to figure out who he's better than and who he's not better than. Okay? So the Pelicans, days after losing by 40 points to the Lakers, get a legit impressive win against the Timberwolves. Now, I want to say I have no dog in this fight at all. I don't care really about either of these teams in any real significant way. I don't have agendas for or against either of these teams. This game was disgustingly officiated, okay? This game was disgustingly officiated. 19 free throws for the Timberwolves, 40 for the Pelicans. If refs are going to give Zion touch fouls every single time, it's going to be a tough one, especially if Zion's like actually trying offensively. That's going to be a tough one to win. That's got to be a tough one to win. But anyway, Zion was good. I want to say that I was listening to I don't remember the name of the show, NBA Game Time, whatever the NBA TV like Sports Center show is, and they were talking about this game, and the host asked one of the guys on the show like, "Is this a sign of things to come for the Pelicans? Have they figured it out after this game?" And the guy said, "Yes, they figured it out. Remember, they were the 1 seed last year, guys. I've never seen a fucking team in my life get this amount of bail as the Pelicans get. I do not care that they were the 1 seed 20 games into the season a year ago. Am I crazy? This always gets brought up anytime the Pelicans win once. It's like, yeah, remember, they were the 1 seed 20 games into the season last year. Okay, and the Bulls were the 1 seed like 2 years ago until like February. like, okay, Zion was great this game. Cool. Guess what? Do it like 5 games in a row. Do it like 5 games in a row. Can this Pelicans team be good for 5 games in a row before we start saying they're back? Or yes, they were the 1 seed a year ago, so yeah, they deserve it. They were the 1 seed in November last year. But anyway, Zion was good in this game. BI was good in this game too. Valanciunas has quietly been very good this year. I mean, we'll kind of talk about that in a second when we try to see if Lively's been a top 10 sitter. You want to know something funny? I never go on Instagram, but I went on my Instagram today. And I looked at my messages, and then I saw message request. I saw message request. I was like, I never clicked on this before. I clicked on it, saw a bunch of DMs. If you've ever DM'd me on Instagram and I haven't looked at it, it's because it's been in my message request folder forever. Somebody, like a couple of days ago, DM'd me on Instagram and said, I'm so fucking sick and tired of your fake optimism. You're about to lose a real fan. I was like, what? Have I been fake optimistic about the Mavericks? I really don't think so. So anyways, I don't even know why that popped into my brain. Pelicans, I think they're the most confusing team in the NBA, pretty comfortably. I have no idea what to make of them on a night-to-night basis. And here's the reality of the situation, right? When your team is built around a superstar who is a star. Zion is not a superstar. When your team is built around a star who is one of the more inconsistent players in the NBA, who on a night-to-night basis, you have no idea who the fuck's going to show up if he's incredibly passive on offense, not trying at all in defense, or nights like last night where he does have the ball a lot and he's being very aggressive and going to the free throw line, then your team's going to look that way as well. Which is why I like get on to Luka at times, and Luka's been much, much better this season. Really, he has. But in years past, especially like parts of last year, where it looked like Luka was so disengaged at times. Like your team's gonna go as your star goes. So your star can't be having like lackadaisical effort from time to time. It's just you can't have it. You just can't. The Pelicans have 10 wins over teams 500 plus. I mean, that is insanely impressive, to be fair. That is insanely impressive. They're good. I mean, they're talented. They're insanely talented. They're insanely deep. But even then, Luka plays good. I mean, it's not about playing good. It's just about effort. I want to see the Pelicans be fully healthy going into the playoffs. Yeah, that's another thing too, obviously. What are some of the other confusing teams in the NBA? Like, what are some of the other teams we don't really know what the hell to make of them? I'm still confused by the Pacers, admittedly. I know that they went on that crazy in-season tournament run and everything. Their offense is incredible. I don't know if I really trust them in a playoff setting. But the in-season tournament, those games were kind of playoff atmosphere games. The games were a little bit slower and had a playoff pace feel to them, and they looked pretty good. And their defense was pretty damn good. Like, at moments. There was moments where they locked it in defensively, and it looked solid. That's why you need a co-star to bring the energy. Sometimes players aren't video game characters. They'll have bad days. Yeah, energy guys are incredibly important. And the Pelicans have a few of those guys as well. Jose Alvarado, who's been hurt for 2 years, it feels like. Trey Murphy brings a lot of energy. Herb Jones, too. And it's no coincidence those guys come back and they string together some pretty impressive wins, minus the 40-point loss. I'm still a little confused about the Pacers because I don't really know what to make of them. The Cavs are very confusing. This was actually a big reason why I wanted to do is Derek Lively a top 10 center, was actually because of Jared Allen. Because I was like, Jared Allen has just kind of like not been that good since he made the All-Star game. Since Jared Allen made the All-Star game, he just hasn't really been that great. And the Cavs as a whole, they really needed Mobley to take a step offensively. And that might never come at this point. It could come. He's a great defender. He's still a great player, like a very impactful player. But they really wanted him to be a guy offensively, and he just really hasn't been that. And yeah, Garland was great in last night's game. The Donovan Mitchell Garland stuff is weird. Like the Donovan Mitchell stuff's weird. He's getting traded. I don't think I think it's there's no doubt about it. Probably not this season, but there's no way in hell he starts next season on the Cavs. Just simply no way. Just simply no way. Jesus Christ, man. 20 straight long. I'm just looking at that L20 in the Pistons column. I don't understand why, though. Just can't have a small backcourt. You just can't. And Donovan Mitchell, going back to even back to his Utah days, he's a good playmaker, but the ball does stop quite a bit. The ball stops quite a bit with him. And I think this Cavs team is built a little bit more to move the ball and even get out and run in transition quite a bit. Cleveland has a small backcourt, but they don't get to the rim that much and create easy shots. I mean, Donovan Mitchell takes tough shots. And his late game stuff is really bad. Their team is so unbalanced. Got 2 small guards and 2 centers who can't shoot in your starting lineup. Yeah, it is a little bit weird. Strus has been good for them, though, so I think they knocked that one out of the park. Are the Hawks confusing at this point, or are they just who they are? Are we confused about the Hawks, or are they just mid? DeAndre Hunter's pretty bad. Timberwolves, nothing to be confused about. They're fucking good. Thunder, not really a lot to be confused about either. Mavericks are maybe a tiny bit confusing. Do you think Donovan Mitchell and Brunson would work? The Knicks are weird because they desperately need a consistent second guy. Obviously, they look really good when Randall's playing well. The problem is he's not consistent. They look really good when RJ has a good game. The problem is he's not consistent. They need a consistent number 2 guy. But God, it would be much easier for them if that second guy was a wing player. It's hard. That backcourt would be incredibly small as well. That would be a very bad defensive backcourt. I just don't know. That one's a little bit tough. Or Brunson should be their consistent 2. Yeah, Brunson could be their 2 as well, but he is better with the ball in his hands. I'm thinking is Paul George just too old? Because if the Clippers flame out at some point this season, could Paul George be someone to keep an eye on? Larry Markkinen would be great for them. Markkinen would be great for every team in the league, though. The Lakers aren't confusing to me, honestly. They are a very, very good defense and an offense that will just be inconsistent. If AD's playing really well, they're going to be damn near impossible to beat. I think that's just kind of how I feel about them. They don't confuse me that much. They're a good team. They're a team that's more so built for the playoffs, I feel like. The Kings confuse me. I have to say, the Kings actually confuse me. There are games where it feels really great for them, like last night. I mean, they beat the shit out of the Nets. Phoenix is a little confusing. I don't think so. I think Phoenix is really good. But there are games last night where they just have a really balanced game, play pretty well defensively. But it is a little inconsistent. Phoenix doesn't care much about the regular season either. Yeah. What the fuck were the Grizzlies thinking with Smart and Rose? Well, the Derrick Rose thing made sense because they desperately needed a veteran. That was just what everyone was saying pretty much. And, I don't think they thought D. Rose would get too many minutes. Marcus Smart made some sense. I would be very scared if I were a GM of trading for guys like Marcus Smart who have been on a team for like 10 years and is like the lifeblood of the team in a lot of ways, but that team kind of seems like willing to trade him. That would scare me a little bit. Like, what do I not know about that guy? That this team that's been employing this guy for the last 10 years almost. What do they know that I don't know? What am I missing? You just described Grant Williams. No, Grant Williams is different. Grant Williams is just a role guy. I mean, so is Marcus Smart. But Marcus Smart won a Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. Did he deserve it? No. That's not for me to decide. I don't have a vote. Phoenix's roster building's a bit confusing. The Beal trade definitely feels like a new owner just sucking his own dick, basically, and wanting to be the talk of the town, wanting to do the big moves that everyone talks about. Let's go get Bradley Beal. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. I don't know. I've watched a lot of Phoenix Suns games this year. I genuinely do enjoy watching them because Booker's incredible. Durant's been incredible. They are fun to watch. And it is actually kind of fun to watch their role guys try to figure some stuff out. But I don't know what Beal brings to the table that they really need. Because even, I guess, offensively, I would say they struggle at times because Booker's a good playmaker, but he's not, you could get to him. You could play very aggressive ball coverages on him, and he can struggle a little bit. Which is why, who was it? Someone on the Ringer, is Devin Booker the best point guard in the NBA right now? Fuck no. Come on. Come on, man. Get serious. Like, you have guys like Luka and even like guys like Tyrese Halliburton who just know how to break every type of defensive coverage you throw at them. Even a guy like LeBron. I know LeBron's not considered a point guard, but like we've seen games where Booker has big-time turnover games. I mean, Beal's not that great of a playmaker. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they're I guess the thing is they got Beal for like practically nothing. Is the defense better because Grant and Green out, or because the team is really gelling and had reps? I do think that some of these younger guys for the Mavericks that have been playing more lately, like Omax, even Dante Exum getting more minutes, AJ Lawson getting some minutes here and there. These are like fast players who fly around the court. I think that's helped them out a little bit, but I do think they're gelling more. And even like Luka over the past couple of weeks, I would say even going back before the baby was born. But he's like, there's something going on with him in a good way. I don't know. He just feels stupidly locked in. Like he's talking shit. His effort's been very good on defense. I don't think it's because all of those guys are missing, like you said. I think that's unfair. Warriors are definitely confusing. I thought they'd be a 3 seed, guys. They just might be bad. I mean, I don't. They just might be a 500 team. Would you just kept Ayton if you're Phoenix? I mean, it seemed like that. It seemed like he had to go. It just seemed like he had to go. It's okay, slightly biased. Everyone counted them out the last couple of years, and then they were amazing still. So this is my thought on Beal with the Suns. Beal's role has never been this small. He's always been a number 2 or a number 1 option, and of course, he has said he will embrace the role he's given. But I do believe he's going to struggle to start his season. He's going to be standing in a corner a lot, and when he's on the court with D-Book and KD, the minutes that'll be interesting will be the non-KD and Book minutes, or games when it's Beal and one of the two. I think by the trade deadline, we will have an idea of what Beal's role will look like. I don't know. Beal's a really cool, I'm trying to think who's in their starting lineup currently. A cool Grayson Allen replacement, I guess. But I don't know. The trying to build big threes, the third guy is always really weird because the idea of them is really cool. And then the reality is like you said, they're standing in a corner most of the time. Yeah, they're all playing tonight, so I'm excited to see that. This will be their first game together. It's December 12th. This will be their first game together. The third guy should be an Aaron Gordon or Wiggins. I think that is the direction. And I think most teams have smartened up on that. A guy who can do some stuff offensively, but is going to do everything else for you. And that's not Bradley Beal. If your third guy is your number two, if Aaron Gordon is your number two, it's probably going to be a bit of a struggle for you. Who's the number three on the Sixers right now? Tobias? KP's another great example of this. KP or Drew. Guys who could definitely do stuff offensively, but they're going to do a bunch of other things for you beyond the offense. So if they have games where they take 6 shots, they're still impacting the games in a lot of ways. I don't think you could say the same about a guy like Bradley Beal, just truth be told. Even looking at some of these other teams like the Timberwolves. I mean, Gobert would be their third guy, right? Cat and Ant, Gobert or Conley. Both of those guys impact the game well beyond offense. Or just scoring, I guess I should say. Because Mike Conley obviously is a point guard, but Kevin Love and Chris Bosh are great examples of a third star. When they were healthy, they were perfect in that role. Yeah, Chris Bosh became a really, really great defender with the Heat. And Kevin Love, floor spacer. I don't know if Kevin Love's maybe the best example, but he was fine. The Kevin Love one feels more like the panic, we need a third guy type of thing. I think Klay Thompson was the best third option on those Warriors teams. Yeah, Klay's a good one too. Klay's a good example. Just because he was a great defender in his prime. And the legit, even if he wasn't shooting shots, every team had to know where Klay Thompson was at any given time. Beal's just never been a great spot-up shooter either. But, defenses have to pay attention to him, though. They're going to be a great offensive team. There's no two ways around it. Frustrating losses to the Raptors. Please Pel's keeping us out of first place. Oh, for the Mavs? They've taken care of business. They've taken care of business against the teams that they're supposed to take care of business against. 8-2 against teams below 500, but hey, 6-6 against teams above 500. That's not bad. Compare that to some other teams across the league. The Suns are 2-7. Holy shit! I didn't realize it was that bad. Yes, the Pelicans 10-6. Damn, they played 16 games against teams above 500. That's crazy. But if you take care of business against the teams you're supposed to take care of business against, you'll be all right. I feel like the Suns' mid-range dependence can hurt them in the playoffs. I know people meme on the analytics mid-range stuff, but the margins, it is impactful. No, you are right. That was a problem for them in the playoffs last year. They never got to the rim. Beal's good at that, though. That is one thing that Beal's very good at, is getting to the rim. So he'll help in that regard. But again, I think the way the NBA is trending, the 2K, let's just get 3 great players and just put them on a fucking team. That just doesn't work. Like, let's just take the 3 highest overalls we can find and throw them on a team, and it'll work out. I guess it's probably always been like that, but there was a stretch. There was a stretch around the Warriors KD era where every team was just trying to find 3 superstars to put on a team, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter who it was or what the fit was. We needed to get them. I need a Luka, Kai, Mikal, big 3. I mean, that would be sick. So I'm excited. What other games are on tonight? That Phoenix Warriors game will be fun. Is that on TNT? It is. Nice. Okay, cool. Lakers, Mavericks. Lakers 1.5 point favorites. I think that's actually really fair to the Mavs. Interested to see how this game goes for Dallas. Defensively for the Lakers, I would have to envision it's very similar to how they defended the Pacers, especially if Kyrie doesn't play. If Kyrie doesn't play, the Lakers are just so aggressive on ball with Tyrese Haliburton, trapping pick and rolls, doubling, and Haliburton did a decent job. I know that they lost and everything, but they shot like 20% from 3 or something like that. They got some great looks. So if the Mavericks can knock down shots, Luka's great at passing out of those double teams we saw last night. If the Mavericks can knock down shots tonight, they got a pretty good chance of winning. I think that's what it will boil down to. You could say that every single game, but it would be more so important tonight. So I definitely think they can win. Yeah, tonight feels a little like that back-to-back against the Kings earlier this year, scheduled loss, low-key. I disagree, honestly. The Kings game felt like a scheduled loss because, 1, the Mavericks are always bad against the Kings, and 2, that Kings team is probably like the worst team. Maybe you could add Indiana to this list now, but one of the absolute worst teams you could play on a back-to-back because they're so fast that it's just like your legs are going to give out at a certain point. We'll see. Again, if the Mavericks are knocking down shots, they'll have a great chance to win. But that means Exum's going to have to hit threes. This is assuming like Tim doesn't play, Kyrie doesn't play. I don't know. Tim's going to have to hit threes. I'm sorry, Exum's going to have to hit threes. Derrick Jones Jr. will have to knock down a few threes. Yeah, they're going to need Tim tonight. I'd be shocked if Kyrie plays. Absolutely shocked. I think Kyrie will be out at least a week. I'm not expecting Kyrie to play in any of this week's games. Cavs-Celtics is pretty fun. Cavs on the second night of a back-to-back. See, like, this is a problem when you have nights where there's like 14 games. So many back-to-backs. Nuggets-Bulls, both games back-to-backs. Warriors-Suns is fun. Kings-Clippers, both teams second night of back-to-back. We can all agree Exum greater than Grant Williams, right? I mean, so far this year, yeah. So those are the games tonight. Anything else from last night? I mean, the Spurs are 17 straight losses. It's super sad because I envision myself watching a lot of Spurs games to watch Wembanyama, obviously. And Wemby was pretty good last night. 5 blocks, 18 rebounds. I envision myself watching a ton of Spurs games, and I haven't. I've had no desire to watch them at all. They are kind of unwatchable. I figured they would be bad, but I thought it'd be kind of fun, and you just have to tune in to see what Wemby's doing. They have not been fun to watch at all, which sucks. Which really sucks. Really, really sucks. Like I said, this is supposed to be one of the most fun teams to watch. And they're fucking horrible. And not fun. That's the problem. They're not fun. Being horrible, cool. We all knew they'd be horrible. But they're like an impossible watch. They're taking one more season. Smart decision the Mavs didn't make. No, it's all cool. Listen, I think I predicted them to be last in the West. I don't remember. I knew they'd be bad. I don't care that they're bad. The problem is that they are just not fun to watch. That's the problem. There's a couple teams like that now. Like the Jazz are starting to reach a point where they're getting their ass kicked a lot now. Like the last 3 games, they got lost by 50 to the Mavericks, 14 to the Clippers, 14 to the Thunder. This game was not that close. Like this game was not as close as even a 14-point score might indicate. But Lowry's been out, and yeah. Look at this. This is actually crazy. In a 14-point loss, Keontae George was a +5, 30 points, 7 assists. He's been nice, man. Taylor Hendricks is starting to get some minutes, and he hasn't been that bad. Spurs would win more games playing 5 centers with Wemby at point. They'd probably be a little bit more fun to watch. All right, the last thing I want to do before we call it a morning. Is Derek Lively a top 10 center in the NBA? So let's just go team by team. Let's just go team by team. We'll start with number 1. Derek Lively. Boston Celtics. KP is not really a center. Do they have anyone who's better than Derek Lively? For sure, at this moment. Al Horford, Big Al Yankovic, or do we want to count Kristaps Porzingis as a center? What do you guys think? Porzingis greater than Lively? No, I agree, but I'm saying, are we counting KP as a center? I guess we have to, right? If we're counting KP as a center, he's better than Lively. Okay, KP is center? All right, yes, put KP ahead of him. Well, off to a bad start. Magic. Wendell Carter Jr. has not played enough games, in my opinion. Low-key, Goga's been pretty fucking good. Goga's been pretty damn good. I'll give Lively the edge, obviously. But Goga's been pretty damn good. Bucks. Brook Lopez. Who's been better this year? Brook Lopez or Mr. Derek Lively? Now, if we're going by EPM, estimated plus minus, Lively has the edge. Lopez better experience counts. I don't give a fuck about experience. We're talking about a 19-year-old kid versus a 38-year-old grandpa. Who's been better this season? How old is Brook Lopez? 35. Brook? All right. If we're calling Brook Lopez better than Lively, then Lively's not going to be a top 10 center. But I will agree, though. Embiid, obviously. Pacers, I honestly don't think Miles Turner's been better than Lively this year. Honestly, God, I don't think Miles Turner's been better than Lively this season. What do you guys think? He's been good. Not great. Good, not great. I think it's like their terrible perimeter defense and how fast they play and stuff like that. His defensive impact has just not felt good this year. New York Knicks. Well, Mitchell Robinson's going to be out for quite some time now. Although I will say I do think he's probably been a little bit better than Lively this season. He's been really good. I think the only people who truly know how good Lively has been are Mavs fans. I think the rest of the league thinks he's been good, but Lively's been 10 times what we expected. Lively's been way better field than Mitch Rob. I'm giving that to Lively. True, Mitchell Robinson is pretty bad offensively. He is a beast on the boards, though. And he's been really good defensively. All right, here. Mitchell Robinson, I'll put below Lively. In parentheses, hurt. All right, that feels fair. Heat, well, I'm sorry. I forgot the Cavs. Mobley's not their center. He's a power forward for them. And, yeah, I mean, for sure, Lively's been better than Jared Allen. Pretty comfortably this season. So, feel pretty good about that. Okay, obviously, Bam. Not sure if this is a controversial take, but I feel like Luka and Exum work better as a duo and have a better flow on offense than Luka Kyrie. I don't agree. Exum is just a great role guy. But you need that superstar X Factor number 2 guy. In games where you don't need him, yeah, I guess. But trust me, there's going to be games where if Kyrie misses some time, there's going to be games where it's like, holy shit, we desperately needed Kyrie tonight. Brooklyn Nets. I don't think Claxton's been better than Lively this year. I just have to say. I don't know if Claxton's been better. I got to just say it. Hawks, no, Capella's not been better. Raptors, Jakob Poeltl's been a disgrace. Bulls, Vooch hasn't been terrible, but I just can't, in good faith, put Vooch over. Actually, I'm looking at Vucevic right now. He's a 50% true shooting percentage. Holy shite. Hornets. Lively's been better than Mark Williams, huh? Mobley or Lively? I mean, I'd much rather have Mobley, but I'm not counting Mobley as a center. I think Lively's been better than Mark Williams. Shout out to Duke. Wizards get serious. Pistons get serious. Timberwolves. Gobert, obviously. Obviously, Gobert's been better. All right, that right now we have Lively at 6. There's a chance we sneak him into the top 10. We're not counting Cat. Chet obviously counts as a center. He's been better. Nuggets, uh-oh. It's starting to get a little bit dicey here. Kings, fuck. Starting to get a little bit dicey. Lakers, AD counts as a center, right? I mean, we're counting AD as a center. Fuck, man. It was a good run. Right now, Lively's at 10. And he's out. Şengün's been better. So there's no way that we could sneak. There's no way we could sneak Lively into the top 10 unless you want to say he's been better than Brook Lopez or you want to say KP's not a center. That's unfortunate. Şengün. He's been better than Brook. If you say he's been better than Brook, then maybe you squeeze him in. Maybe you can squeeze him in. Well, I don't think he's been better than Wemby. I know that they've lost 17 straight games, but I think Wemby's been better. But they don't play Wemby at center. They don't play him at center. Still, though, I think he's definitely been a top 15. Oh, I didn't even think about Jaren Jackson Jr. Has he been playing center for them, really, though? Sabonis has been better, as much as it pains me to say. Yeah, I don't think Jaren Jackson Jr. is a center either. Technically, the Wolves can have two centers that are better. Yeah, I mean, there could be people who argue three. We tried. We tried to sneak Lively in there. Here he is at 11. I realized I spelled his name wrong. Here he is at 11. And this is without Wemby. This is without... Well, I'm not putting Jaren Jackson Jr. there, but obviously if you wanted to say Cat is a center, then you could put him above him. Yeah. Some people would say Naz Reid, not me, though. I think he's been better than Zubac this season. He's been better than Nurkic. You could make an argument for Valanciunas. Wemby's been better than him, as much as it pains me to say. But still, that's like top 12, top 13. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. I'll take it. Anyways, that'll do it for this morning's episode. That'll do it for the first episode of Slightly Early. What'd you guys think? You guys like it? I liked it. I had fun just talking about some basketball. Tomorrow I'll try to have like some more stats and stuff to go over, so it's a little bit more focused. But I hope to do this every morning, you know. Wake up early, knock this out really quickly. There's no excuse not to. There's no excuse not to. I'm going to upload this to the Slightly Biased Clips channel. Not on the main channel. I just don't want to. That's too much content. And I am about to click in this recording and immediately work on a video. So there will be a video on my channel within the next few hours, and then I'll be live in the tonight for the Lakers and the Mavericks game. So a lot of Slightly Biased content today. Anyways, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for hanging out. See you guys tomorrow. A busy day of games. Can't wait.